Okay, Mother, I'm going to try to explain this to you in a video about the cap rate in the easiest way possible. So, there's a couple of things that you have to realize from every problem that you'll ever work on that is regarding some kind of cap rate. And that is that every problem will have the word rate, the word income, and the word value inside of the problem. They're always going to be a word problem, and it's always going to give 2 out of 3 of these in every problem so that you can use them to discover the third value. For example, if it gave you rate and income, then you would be looking for the value, which ironically is the one that you're looking for in this problem. And the same thing goes for if it gave you the value and the income, then you would be able to find the rate. Okay, now the cap rate formula uses 3 key terms every time, as I already said: the rate, the income, and the value. Now, understand, 2 will be known from the problem, but 1 will not. You need to find out which one it is asking for, and use the rest of the information to solve it. Always look for the key terms in the problem, like I said: rate, income, and value. Okay, now the formula is always going to be the same no matter what. This is helpful because if the formula changed, it'd be really confusing all the time. Alright, now it's always going to have income on top and then rate times value on the bottom. Okay, now, like I said, if you look at the problem, you can read it and see which ones it gives you and which one it doesn't. So it says, if the cap rate on a property is 10%, okay, right there it gives you the rate. The rate is the cap rate, by the way. Okay, so on a property is 10%. So your first thing, your income, is not given yet. Your rate is given. You found out that's 10%. And you still have value and income that you're looking for. Okay, so continue reading. And income property has 40 units renting for $900 per month. What would the value be if expenses are $40,000 per year and the vacancy factor is 5%? Okay, now here's the question, the actual question. After all, like the comma and everything else is there, it says, what would the value be? Okay, that's your question, which means that's going to be the one that's not known yet. That's the one you're trying to figure out. Okay, which means value is not known. It means income is known, but as you can see, it gives you a bunch of numbers and stuff that you have to figure out what the income is. So the best way that I can explain this is that you have to know what income is first. So understand, what is income? Income is how much money you make minus how much money you lose, or how much money you would spend to keep these apartments running, for example. Okay, so it gave you that. It said here, it said expenses are $40,000 per year. Okay, there's 2 things that you can get from that. Expenses are going to cost you $40,000. Now, what's the time that that's going to cost you? It's going to be per year. So whatever you're going to figure out can't be per month like this is saying up here. 40 units renting $900 per month, which means when you get to that part, you're going to have to multiply to figure out months, which is easy. There's 12 months in a year, so you just do the 40 units times the vacancy factor to figure out how many units are actually being rented, times the amount per month, and then times 12 because you want to figure out for a year. Okay, now I wrote that down right here. You have 40 units, and you have, see, if let's say there was no vacancy factor, let's say the vacancy factor was 0%, so it'd be 100% minus 0%. So you wouldn't actually be multiplying by anything except for 1, because it'd be 100%, which 100% is like saying 1 over 1, which equals 1. Alright, so it'd be 40 units. Okay? But in your case, it's 5%. So 100% minus 5% is 95%. vacancy factor, which as a decimal is 0.95. You can always do this because you have 100 minus 5, and then you'd have 95 divided by 100. It's going to be 0.95. So 40 units times 0.95. Alright, then times the amount per month. Okay, now if you just stopped there, it would give you the amount that you have per month. But you want to figure out for the whole year because it asked in years. So times 12 months is going to give you the total per year. Now I didn't write this in because as I noticed as I was going along, I kind of messed up here, but I wanted to give you a kind of blank formula so that you could kind of see, like if you fill in the number of units in the problem, and you always use 100% minus the vacancy factor percentage times the amount per month, whatever that amount's going to be, and then times 12 months is going to equal the amount per year that you're making. Okay, so that's your money made. Remember, money made, go back to that formula. Income equals money made minus money lost. So now that you have money made, $410,400 per year, minus the money lost, $40,000 per year, then you go down here. 410,400 minus 40,000 equals 370,400 is your income per year. Notice that key word again, income. Okay, now if you go back and look at the factor, income and rate times value. Okay, now you have your income, you just figured that out, and you already had your rate, it was 10%. So now you don't have value still. Now that you have 2 though, you can figure out the value. Okay, so down here you have your income, which you just figured out right here, income per year, and you have your rate, still no value. Okay, now 10% you can realize is saying 10 out of 100, or if you reduce it, 1 out of 10. Now when something's on the bottom and you're trying to get rid of it, you're going to have to multiply to get that, and it's kind of a weird rule, it might be hard to understand, but if you have 1 over 10, you're going to have to multiply by its reciprocal, which means the opposite fraction, I guess is the way to put it. So 1 over 10, that reciprocal would be 10 over 1, and what you do to one side you have to do the other, so you're just going to do it to the whole thing. Okay, so 10 over 1 is just saying 10. That's how you're getting rid of this 10%, so that you can end up with just the value. Okay, so if you're multiplying by 10, you get rid of the 10%, that doesn't matter anymore, that's what you're getting rid of, and then you're multiplying by 10. So this number, which was your income, times 10 equals your value now. It's actually pretty simple once you look into it. The only reason it seems so complicated up here, a whole sheet of paper, is because I was explaining it so that you don't just see it once and not understand. My point was to show you that each problem is going to have rate, income, and value, and that you're always going to be able to find at least 2 of them, which means every problem is going to have an answer. So it's pretty simple. You'll have 2 of them, and you'll have 1 left to find. And it's going to ask in a question form, what would the value be? Question mark. Okay, so that gives your answer, 3,704,000. Hopefully you understand that now. If you have any questions, go ahead and let me know.